Hello everyone, welcome to Home Cooking with me Hema Subramanian. Now that the monsoon season is setting in, I think we all would love something nice and hot to enjoy. And today I'm going to show you a classic tomato soup, which is one of my personal favorites. Now this recipe is one recipe that everybody will enjoy at home. So please do share this recipe with your family and friends. So why wait? Why don't we get right into the recipe and see how we're going to make this delicious, wholesome and hearty tomato soup. For the tomato soup, I've taken 10 large fresh tomatoes. Make sure they're nice and ripe. Chop them all into pieces and keep it aside. Now I'm going to cook the tomatoes along with a few other ingredients. For this, take a nice white pan, add 50 grams of unsalted softened butter. Using butter will make the soup all the more richer and tastier. Once the butter is melted, add about 6 to 7 cloves of garlic that's been finely chopped and 1 bay leaf. Saute it for just about a minute. Next, add 2 small onions chopped. Saute it for about 2 minutes until the onions are nice and transparent. Next, I'm going to chop 2 medium-sized carrots. I'm adding carrots to the soup to make it more flavorful and more creamier. If you don't want to add the carrots, you can make the soup without them. After about 2 minutes, add the chopped tomatoes and mix them well. Next, add 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon pepper. Now you can adjust the seasoning according to your taste. Cook the tomatoes for about 3 to 4 minutes. Then add about 2 cups of water. Now this is a 250 ml cup. So I've added about 500 ml of water. Cook the tomatoes for about 10 to 15 minutes till they are nice and mushy. Make sure the carrots are cooked as well. After 15 minutes, open the saucepan. The carrots and the tomatoes are cooked perfectly. Now cool this mixture completely. Make sure it comes to room temperature before you puree it. Transfer the cooked tomatoes to a mixer jar and blend it to a fine puree. While blending, add a little water if required. Pour the puree through a sieve and strain it completely. Doing this will give the soup a very smooth and creamy texture. Transfer the puree back into the saucepan. Pour a cup of water into the bowl and pour the remaining puree into the saucepan. Mix it all together. Now you can see the soup is coming together beautifully. It's so smooth and creamy. This is the texture you're looking for. Next, add 1 teaspoon of sugar. This is just to balance the flavors and cut the sourness of the tomatoes. I'm also going to season it with some freshly crushed pepper. Next, I'm going to add a few fresh basil leaves. Adding basil definitely enhances the flavors of the soup, but if you don't have basil, don't worry about it. You can also do it without them. After adding the basil leaves, simmer for about 5 minutes. After simmering for about 5 minutes, before you turn off the stove, just taste the soup. If you require any seasoning like salt and pepper, you can add it at this point. So there you go. Here is this absolutely delicious, wholesome, hearty, rich, creamy and healthy tomato soup which is ready to be served. Make sure you serve it nice and hot with some breadsticks or some toasted garlic bread by the side. Wow, I think we all would definitely want a bowl of that tomato soup. It's a very nice recipe. It's very rich and creamy, and I haven't added any cream, but if you do want to add some cream on the top, you can do that and serve it. I've also added a few carrots to make it a little more richer and thick, but if you don't want carrots, you can just make this recipe just with tomatoes. So do try it. Post in your comments and feedback.